All right, let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Sad. Welcome back to Book It. And we are moving right along with our Hunger Games vibes. We are moving right into Catching Fire, which is the second book of the Hunger Games series. Now, we already did the first one in the first video. This is the second one. This book really, in all honesty, is kind of like, I see it as like a filler book. Like the first book, like this book set the precedent. This told everyone what it's about. This book kind of sets everything up for the third book, but it does have a good storyline with it, so we're not hating on it. So this book has some aspects that like makes this book so likable. So we learn like Katniss and Peeta have returned, obviously, from the districts. I have a lot of notes for this ones too, and I really don't want to do all these notes. So, they go back to the district, you know, it's another year they're living. The president visits Katniss and is like, hey, just so you know, I still didn't forget that you lied to me and that you like are kind of like starting a rebellion, and that's not cool. And she's like, I'm not trying to start a rebellion. And he's like, yeah, well, I see it that way. So, and basically he decides that for the 75th annual Hunger Games, this big, immaculate quarter quell, that the tributes will be chosen from the previous pool of victors. So all the kids that are in the district, y'all safe this year because it's all about the victors. So if you've won a past Hunger Games, you can be in this Hunger Games. Obviously, Katniss is the only female, so she gets called. And then Haymitch gets his name drawn, and Peeta automatically volunteers because he's like, no, you're not going without me. So this games are a little different. These are, you know, favorites of the capital, favorites of the districts. These people have been friends for years. Like, they have been around the Hunger Games for years. They are also trained, experienced killers. Now, the ones from 1 and 2 are a little more, like, lethal than the ones from, like, 7 and 8, because those are kind of like morphlings. Those people have just kind of, like, taken up drugs and just kind of, like, checked out. So they go to, like, a training, and the training, like, basically is not, like, the first one, everyone was in the training, it was, like, mandatory. This one is not. There's, like, 10 people there, maybe, and, like, everyone's just kind of, like, hanging out. Like, it's just not, like, how it was. Haymitch tells them that allies are going to be so much more important in these games because you're going to need help from these people. Along with that, we learn about the like, last quarter quell. So Haymitch was in the 50th quarter, so he was in the second quarter quell. He talks to like a little bit about his games. In his games, there was double the amount of tributes. So there was 2 people from each district. So Haymitch won his games with a total of 48 people in the arena compared to the 24. Now, we meet a lot of great characters. Mags from District 4, she was in the 10th annual Hunger Games, no, the 11th annual Hunger Games, I apologize. The 11th annual Hunger Games. Finnick Odair was also from the 4th district. He is the youngest person ever to win the Hunger Games. He won his games at 14. Joanna from District 7, Lumber, she won hers by basically pretending to be very weak and then literally took an axe to like half the tributes. So like during like the training and stuff, she pretended like she didn't know what she was doing, didn't know how to do anything. They underestimated her, and then she came out with an axe and literally murdered like half the arena. And then we just have like some couple like the district 11 people are a little bit older. They're like in their 60s. They're kind of retiring. They're like, yeah, we don't really want to do this anyway. So basically we meet a lot of great, cool characters. We learned that and the people from District 3, Beatty and Wyrus, are like super smart, but they're called nuts and bolts because they like talk and they're like, they're so smart that the other tributes are like, they're kind of weird, which is fine. So we basically meet a lot of really cool tributes in this, and we learned that all the tributes are mad. They don't want to be doing this again. A lot of them are older and retired. Some of them, like, the ones from 1 and 2, now they wanted to get back in the arena because they had nothing else to, like, live for. But, like, the normal people, like, 3, 4, 5, 7, 11, they just wanted to hang out. They just wanted to be left alone. So sorry, my dog's, like, biting. It's great. So we learned that they're not happy with the quarter quell, but there's nothing that they can do about it, which in all honesty is kind of crap. So at the interviews, we see Katniss wears her wedding dress that her and Peeta were supposed to wear when she got married. And this is when PETA drops a bomb, a baby bomb, and he's like, yeah, if it wasn't for the baby. PETA just coming out here left and right, just like dropping bombs on people. The first book he tells like, yeah, I'm in love with her and she's here. Now this one he's like, yeah, I'm in love with her. We're getting married. She's pregnant. What? So then people are like, stop the games. They try to get the game stopped. Like the tributes hold hands as an act of rebellion. Nothing works. And then right before Katniss is about to go into the arena, Snow is super unhappy and they bring in these guards that basically kill Senna in front of her and she can't do anything. The games immediately start. Things are a little different this time because she partners up with Finnick Odair from District 4. He has like the bracelet that Haymitch got, and Haymitch gave it to him as like a sign of good faith. And then Mags, of course, because Mags and Finnick are a pair. Mags was his mentor. She's like in her 80s or 90s. Like she's like, let's see, she was in the 11th Hunger Games and it's the 75th. That means she's at least 74. So she was probably older when she won her games, I'm gonna guess. So she's probably like in her 78, 79. She's like almost in her 80s. So basically they are running around and then they are learning that like there's different things happening in the arena that are like kind of based on the just based on where they're at. They are in this like fog. So it starts off they're in this fog. No. Yes. Starts off that PETA hits a force field and Finnick revives him. And then they go into this fog and basically the fog like kind of burns your skin and makes you die. PETA falls down and Mag sacrifices herself so that way Finnick can help carry PETA because he can't walk. And then they immediately get attacked by hybrid mutts. And this one is like jumping at PETA and this morphling like kind of jumps in front of PETA and he's like, dude, she sacrificed herself for me. And they're like, no, you're crazy. She did. Spoiler. She sacrificed herself for him. And then when they get to the beach, PETA holds her and she dies. When they're at the beach, all of a sudden they see Joanna and Finnick's like, oh my God, Joanna, because they're friends. So he runs over to them and realizes that she has Wiress and Beetee. And Katniss is like, why does she have them? She doesn't even like them. And PETA makes a comment like, oh, you wanted them as allies, didn't you? She's probably doing it as like a sign of good faith. She kind of talks about how the guy from her district, Blight, had hit the force field and he died when it was raining blood. And Wiress keeps saying tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. And everyone's like, okay, cool. Katniss finally figures out that she's saying tick-tock like it's a clock and that each hour some other horrific event will happen. So this is when Enobaria jumps up and kills Wiress, and then everything kind of goes wild, and then they spin. I'm trying to like get through this quickly. Like I have just as many notes as the last time, so I'm trying to just like basically. Beetee has a plan where he wants to, there's a tree that strikes at midnight and noon and it strikes lightning, and he says he can wrap it up and then run it down to the water and electrocute all the food so that way like anyone that's on the beach will die basically. And he's saying that's kind of nice because when they go into the jungle then the career tributes will come to the beach and then they can kill them all in one swoop. And they're like, okay, cool. So this is when they start setting this plan into motion, and PETA and Katniss are talking. Katniss is like, I think we should leave because we're gonna have to kill these people. Like once the careers are dead, it's literally down to what, us 5, like us 6. Like that's not fair. Like I think we should go ahead and leave. And he's like, no. We just need to wait it out. So they start like, they're like, okay, so Joanna and Katniss, you guys are going to walk this like wire down to the beach. And they're like, okay. And as Joanna and Katniss are walking, all of a sudden the coil like drops down, like somebody cut one of the sides, and immediately Katniss gets hit on the head by Joanna and she feels this terrible pain in her arm, and Joanna like rubs blood all over her and tells her to stay down and runs away. And then Katniss gets up, she's really disoriented and she's trying to like figure out what's going on. She finds her way back and sees Beetee laying on the ground. And she can't find Finnick or PETA, but she sees Finnick like run out of the woods, and he's like, Katniss, remember who the enemy is? And she's like about to shoot him because she thinks that like she was set up. And then she kind of realizes like what Beatty was trying to do. He was trying to hit the force field, like when the lightning struck. So she takes it and wraps it around her bow and then shoots it into the sky, causing a big blackout. This is when she blacks out too. She wakes up to find Haymitch and Finnick and Plutarch Heavensby all talking. Plutarch Heavensby was the game maker that they saw in the very beginning. And basically he took over Seneca Crane's like job. And they're talking about how there's no more District 12, that it was completely bombed after, like right after the games, it was completely bombed. And Joanna, Annie, and Peta, Annie is Finnick O'Dare's girlfriend, were all taken by the Capitol, but they are currently on their way to District 13, where the district is alive and well and living underground. And that's kind of where the book ends. Like, the book just ends there. And we learn like that the tributes in the arena, like some of them were a part of this like alliance to kind of fight back against the Capitol, like the Morphling that sacrificed herself for Peta. They realized that if they kept Katniss and Peta alive, they have a better chance. Katniss is the face of the revolution, but she wouldn't do anything without Peta. So I like this book because it shows a very different side of the Hunger Games. Like it shows like experienced killers, and then we also see like a rebellion side. We see a side of the Capitol when they're more into the game. So the whole first book, the Capitol was into the games, like voting and stuff. This one, they already knew the characters. They already loved the characters. They were like ride or dies for them, right? I don't know why my dog's crying. But yeah, but that's it. This book was really good. I also give this book a 5 out of 5. I also love this book as well. Movie is great too. That's 2 books down. We have 2 books left of our Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me out so much more than you could possibly think. On top of that, make sure you follow my Goodreads. It's going to be linked in the description below. That'll help you find everything I'm about to do, like this upcoming whatever, because I already go ahead and post stuff there before I actually make videos and stuff like that. And you can also see my entire full thing of notes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!